Man Ashrafi Hastam. They may have closed the doors of Ashraf, but they will never close the dream of Ashraf. Ashraf will always live. Now, the mullahs say that they want to be part of the international community. But we know the truth is that the mullahs are only saying that because they are more unstable, not only politically at home in Iran, but they are more unstable politically around the world. This is a very simple question. Of which side do you want to be on? So I have always said, any agreement on a nuclear program must be true in its principles. And it must also measure whether Iran is following its rhetoric when it says it wants to be a peaceful, non-nuclear nation. It cannot say that and continue to deny the rights of its own people. It cannot say that and continue to execute its own people. It cannot say that and continue to support Bashar al-Assad in genocide in Syria. So I say to my president, make sure that any agreement on a nuclear deal not only monitors the nuclear sites within Iran, but it also monitors the prisons in Iran. And it also monitors the support for terrorism overseas. That it also monitors the state of those 7 hostages. We cannot have it both ways. And so when this historic time, either to side with the past or the future, is before us, not only the United States, but the international community, I hope that the United States and the international community will make the right choice, and that is to stand on the side of the people of Ashraf and to stand on the side of protecting the dream of freedom. And that is why I'm always so proud to say, Man Irani Hastam. Thank you very much.
Distinguished guests, Mrs. Rajavi, it's an honor for me to be standing before you and to address you. I'm a representative of many. There could be tens of thousands of Iranians that could be stood in my place. I'd like to start by thanking our guests for being with us today at this convention, which is important to us, and also for taking strides with us along the road to freedom. I'd also like to thank Mrs. Rajavi for her leadership. Her strength, her courage, her conviction inspires us all. Also a message for the residents of Camp Liberty, our sisters, our brothers, our friends. That message is, wow. Wow, that every day that passes, we are astounded by your tenacity and your bravery. Even in the face of such adversity in Iraq, your voices shout louder. The torch of freedom that you carry shines brighter. No, 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 you shout. No, we will not surrender to the tyrannical regime in Iran. No, we will not stop standing up for the rights of the Iranian people. And no, we will certainly not stop using all our powers and all the effort that we have to overthrow the regime and bring about democratic change in Iran. The Committee of Anglo-Iranian Lawyers supports the people of Ashraf wholeheartedly and supports the objectives of this convention. As Mrs. Rajavi says, we're at a critical juncture. Change in Iran is inevitable, especially with her leadership and the NCRI and the PMOI beside the Iranian people. That change will be brought, and it will not be brought by the likes of Rouhani and others who are part of this brutal regime, but by the Iranian people and its resistance. I've learned one thing, and I suspect I'm not the only one, and you've all realized this too, that the Foreign Office and the State Department have absolutely no understanding of the realities in Iran, the aspirations of more than 70 million Iranians, and the NCRI and the PMOI. I regret to say that when it comes to Iran policy, the UK Foreign Office and the State Department are rotten to the core. The PMOI was the largest political party in Iran after the revolution and was responsible in large part for the revolution. Millions of supporters in Iran. Over 120,000 PMOI supporters and sympathizers have been executed. Do the maths. If they have 10 relatives, that's 1.2 million supporters. If they have 100 relatives each, that's 12 million supporters. Also, I showed them photographs of the NCRI's annual political conference in Paris. 100,000 attend. I don't mean any disrespect to any political parties in the West, but I can't remember the last time that any political party in the West managed to gather even 10,000 people at one of their annual conferences, never mind 100,000. Also, why is the Iranian regime so terrified of the PMOI and NCRI if they mean nothing and they have no supporters? Leading on to the suggestion that Rouhani represents the Iranian people, it's offensive, it's insulting. That statement says that Iranians support an Islamic fundamentalist dictatorship, torture, rape and execution, total oppression, oppression of women, oppression of religious and ethnic minorities, total lack of human rights. We're here to say to the Foreign Office and the State Department, no. We want for our people and for our loved ones exactly what you want for yours. Describing Rouhani as a moderate and doing deals with the regime is cowardly. It's dangerous and it's aimed at appeasing a brutal regime. Our message to the FCO, polite message that is, and the State Department, is take your heads out of the sand and see the wood for the trees. Recognise the NCRI as a legitimate opposition movement and an alternative to the Iranian regime. Recognise the Iranian people's aspirations for freedom and democracy and to overthrow this regime. And finally, but very importantly, in respect to the residents of Camp Liberty, the US, the UK and the UN must fully protect the rights of the residents. They must respect the rule of law. They must keep their promises and comply with their legal obligations, which they haven't done to date. We will do everything in our power to make sure they do so. Thank you.